was ready for this appreciable challenge tonight.
Dan Ige proving why he is where he is. Back on top, looking good in his last couple fights.
Dan 50K Ige!
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier. I'm made for a fucking podcast. That's dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it. I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna fucking do it, bro. I don't give a shit. Hold on, my room. All right, hold on. Let me get ready here. Guys, listen. Did we start the show? Let's start.
We've started. Absolutely.
You know what happened? This is what happened, Alex. You know, I have a saying, a couple of sayings. I have a lot of sayings. What saying was I getting at, Jimmy? Yeah, I lived this shit. I taught the 7 a.m. class. And then every other Monday, I do the noon class also. So sometimes I take a little nap in between then. And sorry, that's my ring. Let me show you. And then I cut it a little close sometimes on Wednesdays, or Mondays. But hey, I'm here now. Hi guys.
Where do you nap? At your place?
Yes, I have a lounge that I also and please don't. I know Alex will never judge me. Sometimes I can't sleep right away, so I bring in a portable little carrying case. I bring my VR with me, Jimmy.
Oh.
Jimmy, I'm kind of addicted to the VR.
I understand.
You know, an average approaching 50-year-old is not going to be usually just with the fucking headset on. It's so much fun. Hi, Alex. I don't think I said hello yet.
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry. I'm coming in hot.
That's all right.
I love it.
So what's going on, guys? You were at the fights last night.
Dude, you guys, Adam hooked me up. You guys hooked me up with tickets. And Amber was amazing. The whole staff was amazing. And we got some killer tickets. And then we met GSP in the back, which was really, really awesome.
It's funny, George. I got a text from him yesterday. Not a word. There's no words being spoken. It's just a new Ahsoka trailer because he's a Star Wars fan, and we're kind of nerdy. So he just sends me the new Ahsoka trailer, and I always comment, it looks sick. We're kind of nerdy, but
I love it. I love it. So,
How did you meet him?
We met him in the back, and then my buddy Tomo, who's on Battlestar Galactica, one of my best buds, he was like, dude, if I freak out over anyone, it's going to be GSP. And then sure enough, we see him and he goes, holy fuck, it's GSP, it's GSP. So we got to do a little chat with him. Then we met Uncle Dana and he was super dope. I dropped your name and he was like,
No!
I'm kidding.
Had you met him before, Alex?
No, that was the first time I met him. And super dope, man. He was very generous, very cool. It was just an all around. And then we had the killer fights. Canadians went 5-0.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I want to talk about, listen, there's a lot to talk about, but Charles Oliveira, that was, wow.
Yeah.
I just fully believe that he puts everything into just finishing the fight. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but usually it fucking works out.
It certainly does.
And Beneil, a lot of things were answered in that. And like Beneil was not afraid to go to the ground with them. And he was doing everything right. He was weathering the worst of the storm. And it showed that he can hang with him down there. But when he got back to his feet, it was almost like the round started right then. There was no, I'm going to wait and let's see if I can get my breath. And he's so vicious.
Dude, what was so cool to watch when you're there? The television doesn't pick it up. When you're watching pay-per-view at home, doesn't pick it up because you get to see shit that you don't usually get to see. What I got to see with that fight were levels. Like we saw the undercard. The undercard was great. There's amazing fighters. And then you see Oliveira and then Nunes. You see everything bump up a level. And the calmness in Oliveira's eyes and just watching what's going on. Even when he was on the ground and he was weathering that storm and he's throwing elbows. you just see him like almost like the chess game. And it was just so different to see that type of fighter, that level of fighter, so relaxed in that pocket. It was really beautiful to watch. It was amazing. Him and Amanda had that look of just, they could do anything. It was so relaxed. It was almost like a sparring energy to them, but they're doing it in front of 16,000 people and going crazy. It was to get to see that type of and level of fighting that close, where you don't get to see it on television was an eye opener on that level.
And he was calling for Makhachev after the win. He wants a rematch. What did the first one end in the second? Was that a second round stoppage for Islam? I thought it was, if I remember. And I know it was. So what happens though? Does Charles have to go through another fight before he gets that rematch, just because it wasn't a really tight fight, a close fight?
I don't think so. I don't know. I felt like Oliveira going in there wasn't as relaxed as what I saw last night. I think there was something, I don't know, it just felt like a little bit off. He's had those off fights. I think that was one of those off fights. I think he jumps right into it. I think he's ready. His confidence has just skyrocketed after that. I think.
Can they sell it though? That's the thing. Is that an easy fight to sell, because it wasn't really a close fight, the first fight?
But after this performance, I don't know, man.
Maybe. Yep.
I mean, look at that. I mean, he really. I mean, he had the weather. It's not like if he would have went in there and just starched him, yes, you could say, yes, look at that. He had the weather a little bit down there. He was in some bad positions. Yeah. You know, well, listen, he was in his guard. Beneil, I know it's hard to pass Oliveira's guard, but you're not going to do I mean, again, they said like some of those punches were missing and they heard it on the mat. You know, I heard it on the mat.
Oh, dude, we were right there. We heard those punches on the mat. Like it echoed. And it really felt like, to me, he was Oliveira was in control at the bottom. The way he was moving, switching his hips, and the punches weren't really landing. Oliveira was landing those elbows. It just looked to me, and that it looked like he was in control.
Who's getting more tired in that case? Like, you know what I mean?
I felt like Oliveira wasn't as tired, for sure.
He's on bottom because Beneil wasn't really doing the damage. Yes, you heard the impact of it hitting the floor, but even because with his torso and with him breaking the posture, he was trying to grab his neck and punch. But when you're in a guard compared to being on mount, it's such a difference. Yes, you're on top, but when you're in a guard and somebody knows how to even use their legs to pull you in and out, it's like you trying to knock somebody out with somebody behind you on your shoulders, just pushing you like this. And you might land something, but you're taking some off those shots. Just manipulating the balance. Could a shot land on the chin and really do some damage? Yes, but Oliveira did not look as, as in trouble. Where the difference is when you look at Islam was matching him down there. He was looking to pass. And then he did do it again. He got him mounted with the head and arm choke, I believe.
I think that's two different fighters on top, for sure. Islam is like, he knows what goes on down there, and Dariush, he's no slouch. He's had a winning streak. He looked great. I just think there were levels in that specific night. That night, Oliveira just was one level above him.
Does Islam, do you think, want Oliveira next, or do you think he wants somebody different for a bigger bet? Sometimes he may not want that fight next because they've already fought him. He may think he can do better fighting Poirier or Gaethje or one of those guys.
I think that he's got his choice. I mean, I think his confidence is way up there because he beat Charles. I don't think he wants to go at it again. I think he'll just try to take a different fight. I mean, why wouldn't he? Unless the fans are calling for it and the money's going to be great, there's no reason for him to fight him again. I think Charles deserves it. I think Charles deserves to go again at him, but he's in the power position for sure.
Yeah, and if you get past a guy like Charles Oliveira, I don't think most guys are looking just to test that a second time in 3 fights. If you beat Oliveira in the second round, I don't think anybody wants to go back to that well and with that much confidence that they can do it again, because he's so dangerous on the ground and he's so dangerous standing. I think he's in a bit of a tough position if Makhachev holds on to the belt. I think Oliveira may have to wait for a couple of fights.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know who they're going to give him next, but I don't think he's going to mind any. His mindset, he looked
Yeah.
He never looked better. He looked phenomenal, man. That was something else. What can we say about Amanda Nunes now that she's retired? I mean, that's amazing, huh? I didn't see that coming. I didn't, especially she had that fight. She won it so handedly. Like it didn't look like it was a very stressful fight for her. You know, she made it kind of look easy, to be honest.
Yeah, and honestly, ringside, that's exactly what it looked like. She was so relaxed. She understood her distance. She didn't have a lot of pressure. Like she was moving forward, but Amanda just totally had the whole fight in control. And like you said, I didn't see it coming. She came over to Dana and started talking to Dana, and I literally was going to my buddy Tomo. I was like, she's asking for a big fight. She wants a big fight. She's looking for something huge. Like it was almost like a thank you, and I really want something else out there. I want a third belt. It just looked really important what she was saying. Did not think it was going to be a retirement.
Well, Irene Aldana, I mean, it was a really terrible fight because you could say like that she wasn't doing certain things because Amanda was frustrating her. But even in the beginning of the fight, before Amanda had just thrown a few feints, Aldana had that thing where it just seemed like maybe the moment overwhelmed her a little bit. And she realized, I'm in here with the greatest of all time. It just seemed like even before Amanda got going, Aldana was just incapable of getting started. And she's obviously a much better fighter than that. But I thought that was a terrible fight. And, you know, there's a time where I know that it's easy to say sitting here, but you have to go when you're down 3-0 or even 4-0. You have to do something. And it just seemed like she was frozen in the moment. I'm really not sure why.
From our perspective, she just couldn't pull the trigger. Yeah. She was there. She pulled that one shot, and she landed that one shot in the first round, and she just didn't pull the trigger. She wasn't trying to counter. She was moving forward. She wasn't being first. She was just eating these jabs. Oh, Amanda's jab was just so on point. But the whole fight, she was just eating it and could not pull the trigger.
Yeah, I would like to see again what landed early that made that happen, because this wasn't her first fight, and she's got some knife hands. Yeah, she's hurt some people. She's got elbows. She hurt people off her back with up kicks. She's a dangerous woman, but yet to hurt somebody, you know, you're there to be hurt also. I mean, you're not going to get across the room. So. Yeah. You know, she did not risk it for whatever reason, and regret is a hell of a thing. So when I say, listen, she fought for a world title, do I feel bad for her? I'm not saying it in that way, but I'm saying there's going to be something inside her now where you had your shot, you blew it in a chance where you didn't take that chance. I'm not saying go out on your shield. I'm not saying go in there and try to do the windmill. No.
Right.
But you got prepared for this thing. You have to take your chance. You have to take a chance. You got to fight your way in. You might have to go through hell. You might get scarred up, and you might not come out on top, but at least you tried. And
when she landed, Amanda felt it, Matt. When she landed, Amanda reacted. And you're saying that what was it that Amanda hit her with? I couldn't even remember her hitting her with anything that would cause her to shut down like that completely and not engage.
I don't think she did. I honestly feel like, and it was right on our section of the fight, our area. And I think Amanda like missed a shot, and she was in close and off balancing, and then got caught, and she did get caught. And then the rest of the fight, it just felt like she was waiting for that perfect shot. I almost feel like I wish she didn't land that shot that hurt Amanda in the first, because then she wasn't be waiting for that perfect shot again. That's why I feel like she wasn't pulling the trigger. But to see Amanda so in control of that fight, there was times where she was so inside the distance where Aldana could actually throw some strikes, and she just did not pull the trigger. And we were screaming, going, throw, she's right there. You can actually hit her. Amanda's confidence was just so big that she was putting herself in positions, but she was just handling everything. And the distance was so beautiful that she was handling it.
That's the difference with somebody like you. Oh, we have somebody in the waiting room?
Yeah, that's our signal. Dan Ige is in the waiting room. I get like a little text from the producer. So we have Dan Ige in the let's bring him in after that incredible fight with Nate Landwehr.
Sometimes, Jimmy, you do this when I'm singing, and I think you said, "I don't believe you." Because
no, but
stop singing.
I won't. I would never want you to stop singing.
Dude, we made eye contact. After a round, he was, because we were right behind his corner, and I was like, yeah, and he just gave me a little wink, and I went to my boy. I was like, see that? Yeah.
Hey,
Yo,
Dan Ige, were you winking at this giant in the first row the other day? That's what I'm hearing.
I
may
at
or
the
may
fight.
not have.
I had a black fedora on, and you finished. I had a black fedora on, and you finished the round. You walked over, and I was like, yeah, and you're like, gave me a little wink. I was like,
probably did.
yeah,
Just
man.
embracing the moment, man.
It was epic to watch you.
Yeah, stoked to see you guys. I haven't talked to you guys for a while.
Yeah, you got to feel good, man.
I feel good. I feel good to be back home with the family with the win. You know, it always sucks when you got to fly home, you know, on the other side and just kind of bummed and go through that roller coaster, but it feels good to go just be on the other side of a win. I got a little momentum again, got 2 fights in a row this year, won both of them. So I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped.
Did you get that thing when you lose a couple in a row and they're decisions, they were all good fights, but do you start to get that thing like, what do I have to do? Or do you start to panic a little bit as it comes into 3? Like what happens if it becomes 4? How do you stop your mind from rolling down that hill?
A little bit, because initially before I went through that whole 3-fight losing skid, I had never lost 2 times in a row ever in my life. And so initially when I lost once, I was like, all right, I'm going to bounce back the next one because that's just how the math works. And then I lost 2. And then when I lost 2 in a row, I was like, there's no way I could lose 3 in a row. It's impossible. Like quantum physics, whatever. It just, I ain't losing. So I took on the Russian that no one wants to fight. I was like, perfect. It's perfect time to fight him because I can't lose. And then I lost. So yeah, losing 3 is just, I don't know. It does a little something to you mentally. And I had to go do some soul searching and like figure out some things. And really, I don't know. I dug deep, man. I dug deep to like my childhood and just really figured out and found my true purpose and something bigger. Like I need something bigger than just winning the belt. And it's not about going, oh, like I need to tighten up my cross or my defense or add more volume or more kicks. It's none of that. It's little mental adjustments and being able to come back and be mindful in the moment. And the pressure comes, man. The pressure comes and goes. I didn't feel a ton of pressure going into that into that Damon Jackson fight because I was like, dude, I lost 3 times in a row. Like, I'm just gonna go give it everything I have and have fun with it and be in the moment. And I feel like that's when I perform my best. I go out there and just flow. I'm not thinking about winning. I'm not thinking about losing. I'm thinking about giving my best effort and being in the moment. And usually when I can do that, I have my best performances.
To get you mentally straight, did you see a coach for that? I know guys did that. You talked to anybody about that, or did you just something you just got through by yourself?
I did. I did start talking to a sports psychologist for about a year, probably after my last fight when I lost in June of last year. Yeah, so it's been about a year straight. I go once a week, dude. We just talk, we reassess values, and do practices to, be in the moment. And, when I'm with my family, I'm with my family. I'm not thinking about fighting. And that was always a problem for me. It's like, I'll be with my family, but I'm thinking like, I'm plotting out the next fight. I'm thinking about the last fight. And dude, that's just the things that you can control is like being in the moment and what you're doing. So I found a ton of value from that. If anything, more value than anything I've ever like committed my time to in my career and in my life. So it helped me a ton in life. And it's something that's going to help me for the rest of my life.
I think I never got diagnosed with anything, but I think I got like ADHD or something. Jimmy, wink if you think I have ADHD. No, I think I have some shit, but it keeps you in the moment. And I swear to God, I think that helped me in my fighting. because and my jujitsu, because I'm constantly constantly in the moment. I'm not thinking, you know what I mean? I don't know. I truly think that kind of thing helps you. I'm not saying that you have that also, but I'm saying that staying in the moment thing.
It is, because just I mean, and I know, just as a fighter, like I always feel like I have to be doing something, and I do everything. I do everything as far as training, sleep, recovery, nutrition, sauna, ice baths. Now I'm like doing all this shit, mental training, and playing freaking brain games on my phone, like just things that will again take my mind away from fighting. And even like I used to talk to Gray Maynard at like when he was training at Extreme Couture, and he would be like, "Hey, bro," like I didn't really take his advice at the time, but he'd be like, "Hey, go mountain bike or something. Like get out of the gym for a couple of days, go 3 days out. Like it'll be good for you." And I didn't really realize that till like kind of now, as I'm more of a veteran. I've been around this game for a while. I'm 31 years old. I got 27 pro fights. I understand what he's talking about. Like I get better outside the gym. Like I don't have to be the one that's in there 2-3 training sessions a day. Like if I get maybe one in the morning or one later on, I could go, or I could train one time in one day or take 2 days off. Like I'm going to get better within those days off because I'm giving my body a rest, and more importantly, I'm giving my mind a rest. Because the sport, man, it takes a lot out of you when you dedicate every single aspect of your life to it. And so those days off and just the time off is, I think, even more important than the hours you're putting in.
Yeah, sometimes when it comes, go ahead, Alex. There you go.
No, yeah, I was just saying, like, I come from a boxing background, and now in acting and stuff, and I've been going to sports psychologist for years, and it's regardless that I'm not in the sport of boxing anymore, but it's that mental freedom and mental control, and actually talking about shit that you never get to talk about with anybody else, to center and focus yourself. So I think that's an amazing thing that you do, and actually putting it out there and letting other athletes and even actors know that, there's a way to go about it and get us straightened out to where, you have your moment, you're in the fight game, you're getting your mental preparation together, and having someone to talk to through that. I think that's epic. And honestly, watching you in the fight, you were so on point. My buddy knows all about your career, and he was telling me, he was like, this kid can go. And watching you was really inspiring, man, because you came back to the cage just exhausted, and I just remember you taking this huge calm breath, and I was like, that's awesome, man. It was really cool.
Awesome. No, thank you, man. That means a lot. And yeah, I think it's just a stigma, especially as a man. Like we've dealt with that for so long. Like you can't show emotion. You can't tell, if you tell someone 5-10 years ago that you're going to a therapist or seeking help mentally, like you're just you're weak. You're weak-minded.
Yeah.
But just expressing it and expressing my feelings and just being real with myself and real with others. Like I don't have to put on a mask. I don't have to lie to someone to come off as tough. Like being a little vulnerable and expressing that, humility, I think, is a strength in itself. And at the end of the day, it makes me stronger and makes me more confident in who I am, which at the end of the day helps me perform at the highest level. And I think I've unlocked something. And the best guys do it. The best guys do it. And you're going to see me continuing to level up in that, and from that aspect.
When you go to a sports psychologist, what happens right before that? And I don't mean the loss, but in your mind where you go, there's something here that training is not fixing. I think talking to this person would help. Is it that your mind is all over the place, or are you having a hard time focusing on one thing, or you're hyper focusing? But what tells you, hey, I think I need to talk to somebody?
Well, what made me realize it was, so I have a buddy from church, and he has no connection to the fight world whatsoever. And so when I lost to Evloev last year in June, he was coming over to my house every 3 days a week. Every morning we jump in the ice bath and we just sit and talk and have coffee, and we talk about life. And And I realized like I was already unlocking something in that moment, just talking to someone and talking about things and like feelings. And then when I started, or when I realized, I was like, okay, there's professionals out there for this. And, I had some contacts. So, I reached out and we started talking. And if anything, it just helped me help me understand my thoughts a little more. Cause we all have thoughts. We all have, good thoughts, bad thoughts, mostly bad thoughts, because that's just how our minds are wired. They're inherently negative. We think about shit, that's not necessarily true, but they help me decipher those thoughts. And, you know, again, coming back to being in the moment, it's like, where is my brain right now? Am I thinking about that shit? Like, am I thinking about even this last fight, dude? I was like, even though I did great things, I won, I fucking did awesome. There's things like, fuck, maybe in round 2 when I heard him, I should have jumped on his neck and just went for the choke and finished him, right? Like, you think about things like that, like going back, and me in that mindset, that's a depressive thought, because I'm thinking of something that's in the past that I can't control. Where on the other aspect of that, you're all right, who's next? What's next? What's going to happen? Like, those are anxious thoughts. That's kind of where anxiety stems from. And so understanding that and just having the balance, like, I'm going to still continue. The goal isn't to not have these thoughts. It's just the ability to deal with them on a daily basis when they occur. And I'm not a master, but I want to master this art just like I want to master jujitsu or striking. And it's part of martial arts, man. Just mastering your mind. I think it's the most important one.
Hey, one of the best to ever do it, George St. Pierre, ages ago in our rematch in Montreal, he had a lot of pressure on him. He was very open about seeing a shrink and a sports shrink. And, the guy told him to write my name on a brick somewhere in a lake in fucking Canada. There's a brick with the name Matt Serra on it. And he threw it in the fucking lake just to unburden that. And then and then he kicked my ass. So it might work. I didn't win that fight, So
that's pretty wild.
I thought it was kind of silly, and then I got my ass kicked. So hey, I should have sort of shrink. I don't know. There's something to it.
That's a good name for it.
Your brain is so like, if a couple things don't go right, and then I start thinking about them, as soon as something doesn't go right, I almost get this, see, you knew. It's almost confirming that something negative is going to happen again, instead of just looking at it in the moment and then just moving forward. I kind of let it become more than it is. So I've done that. Obviously, I'm not a fighter, but I definitely understand how that can happen, where your mind starts to confirm negative things, as opposed to just say, hey, this is the thing that happened, and now I'll move past it.
Yeah.
Just to reiterate that, like when I was going through that, because I personally just wanted the best that I could do. And how do you go that through talking to someone? And it gave me the thoughts that I was feeling, that I was going through. It gave me specific names. Like there was one like parasite. I was like, parasite, that's fucking a harsh thing. And that's when you see someone successful and you kind of like, you're kind of like with them a little bit longer because you think they're going to bring you through because you don't believe in your own shit. And then I just went, oh fuck, I think that's what I was doing to my buddy, because I just saw so much great with him, as opposed to going, I want to be around great people, but I've got my own kind of path. But the negative brain goes, if I can't do it, I want to be close to somebody that can. And it was a parasitic thing. I went, oh my God, you just put a name on it. Now I recognize it. Now I can go on my own path. So it's an interesting thing, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down, it's like you hear that people talk about all the time, like you are kind of who you surround yourself around. And it's like, there were some negative people in my life that I was like, that I didn't realize that at the time. And maybe I'm even trying to help them be better, but at the same time, they're just draining you mentally. It's like, you can only help someone so much, especially if they don't want to succeed themselves. And, you can never make someone succeed. They have to want it internally. And, but yeah, just kind of making that realization of, who are the people around me right now? Who's either feeding me or taking away from my mental state, from my mental energy. And it's big, man. We all deal with it just as human beings. And I'm a fighter, but that's just what I do. I'm Dan Ige. I'm a human being at the end of the day. And, beyond fighting, I know if I apply these same tactics and mindset, I believe I could achieve anything.
What do you do after a win like that? Like, do you celebrate? Is there anything in particular that you'll do after you win to kind of reward yourself?
A little bit, man. I mean, I like, again, I don't really party. I don't drink, maybe smoke a little here and there, but I don't like, I try not to get too high, don't get too low, but I have a planned vacation. We actually, and this is something new I started doing because I used to wait, like, I'm like, I don't want to plan a vacation. I'm not gonna, I'll think about that after. But before my last fight, like I had pre-planned a vacation. We went to Mexico. This time I'm going to Hawaii on Thursday, go see some friends, family. So I had already pre-planned the vacation. And that's just one less thing to think about, going into the fight. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home, eat some good food, relax on the beach, go see some old friends. And when I get back, it's just, back to work, back to my structure, back to routine. That's where I thrive.
Are you a good vacationer? Like, are you a person that can really just let go and enjoy it? Or do you kind of have one foot back in your work and what you have to do when you get home?
I'm way better now. I'm way better now. So we're going for 10 days, and I know towards day 10, I'll be getting a little like anxious and antsy because again, I thrive in structure. I thrive in routine. And when I'm out of routine, I start like, again, the mind will be like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You gotta, go lift some weights or do something. But I know over there, I'll just be breathing fresh air and I'm recovering my body. I'm recovering my soul and charging my mind to do it all over again.
Hey, really quick, not to jump back to what we were talking about earlier. You like those ice baths, huh? You like those cold plunges?
I fucking hate them.
But do you feel the benefits or no?
No, I do. And I know they've become real, like kind of trendy over this last year, but I love them. I've changed my ways a little. Like for a while, I was doing it first thing every single day. And then like, kind of you learn the science a little bit and the purpose of actually using them and the best times to use them. So I've tweaked, some days I'll do it first thing in the morning. Some day if I have like 2 hard sessions, I'll do like a quick one in between. Some days if it's an off day, I'll cycle the sauna and the ice. But dude, it's such a great tool because when you're in there, like it sucks every time, no matter how much you've done it, but it's a mental hurdle that once you overcome, and when you're in the actual ice bath, all you can do is survive. So it just makes you focus on your breath and survive for 3 minutes, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever. And that, I don't know, I think all that adds up, but that's mental training.
What is this like? What does it do? Like I know cold can be good for injuries, but what does it do that's actually helpful? Because I've tried a couple things like that, I just couldn't do them.
I think for me, it's like the biggest, like, I don't know, in a training camp, like I have the Aura ring. The thing tells me I'm like optimal every day, but I'm like, dude, I don't feel optimal. My body hurts every day, no matter what. So like, I don't like get in the ice bath and be like, oh, I feel great. Like I do, it gives me like a temporary relief of like pain and from like the anti-inflammatory response. But for me, the biggest thing I get, so that something that happens when you get in the ice and get your face in the cold water, like you have this like neurological response, but your brain releases, you have like a 200, I don't know exactly, I think it's like 250% increase of dopamine. And it's not just a spike. So it's not like you do like a line of cocaine and you get a spike of dopamine and then you crash.
Yeah.
So you get this like prolonged effect of dopamine, and then kind of throughout the day it'll crash. And also in the morning, like you have high levels of cortisol, which is basically a stress hormone. So getting in the ice is stressful already. So you get a spike in cortisol, but then your cortisol drops drastically. So you get this increase in dopamine and a drop in cortisol. So like mentally, like you just feel happier. I'm more positive, because again, like when I'm fucking beat up and sore and tired and like I'm on a calorie deficit because I'm cutting down to 145, and I could get a little, not too fun to be around. But
Yeah.
that definitely helps.
Yeah, Dana likes that. Dana White likes it now, and you can't get his shirt on that motherfucker lately. He's been. I don't know if you see
He's
the.
He looks
jacked,
good.
dude.
He looks
He's
good.
been
He's
showing his
jacked.
ass more
man.
than the fighters lately.
For real, for real. I
don't listen.
don't know.
Is he
what
doing
I
the ice
worry
bath?
about, Jim, you know what I worry about, Jimmy, is
Yeah.
that nowadays everything's they change their mind with everything. Oh no, the brown rice is bad, the white rice is good. Or oh no, this is no, have some gluten. I don't know if they say that about gluten, but all I know is, what if this thing they're gonna find out? Oh no, that ice bath. Yeah, you're really gonna die earlier now. You've been killing yourself. You know that feeling of almost dying? Yeah, you got fucking 10 months to live. I don't know. I'm sure it's great for you, Dan.
Honestly, I just there's a lot of noise out there. I mean, and it from any social media, like people telling you this, that, the greats in their sports telling you how you should do things, and it all comes down to what makes you feel good and what makes you feel confident at the end of the day. And everyone's different. For a long time, I've my mind, not in a bad way, but it's been infiltrated from the people like, I look up to the greats. I look up to a guy like Cejudo, who's accomplished great things, or Khabib, or Kamar, Frankie. They have their ways, and they tell you they don't. I'm not. Certain guys might tell you this is the way. You got to do this. Like, why you do like Khabib, for example, brother? Why you do S&C? Why strength? You don't do CrossFit. You need to grapple and spar. That's it. I'm like, okay. So I tried that. It didn't work for me. Like I didn't feel. I felt more beat up. I had more injuries. So I'm like, I feel good when I lift 2 days a week in a camp, because my body feels good, and I could see the fit, like I could see the results. I could see my body like hardening and like getting vascular. I'm getting strong, and my engine feels good. So I'm gonna do that. And I stopped, not in an arrogant way, but like I stopped kind of listening to, what people tell me what's right, because at the end of the day, it's what's right in here, what's right in my heart.
It sounds like you take in information and try it, and then make that decision of going, okay, that may be great for you, but I've seen it now. It's not a question mark because I tried it. Now I'm moving on to something else, which gives you even more confidence, because you can go in and out and just kind of absorb different things and realize that it's not for you. So I think that's just the mentality of a growing fighter.
Yeah, definitely. And I've, for a long part of my career, I've done that. And now it's like, I'm 31. I don't have, not saying I won't take advice from anyone, but I just kind of know, like, I know now what works for me, and I'm going to believe in that.
Right.
And just work, and the results will come.
Right. Sorry about this noise. My mic fell off for some reason, so I have to hold it like a fucking idiot. The ice bath, what I imagine the ice bath is good for too? Like, I've taken cold showers before, and it's like I literally can't breathe. It's like there's a really weird desperation to breathe. So if you can kind of slow your breathing or make yourself focus on breathing, I can really see that being an absolute advantage to helping you control the way you're breathing.
Yeah, I think there's a big untapped knowledge and potential we don't really know about the breath, because it's just something, it's so simple, right? You don't think about breathing. We breathe, I don't know how many breaths a day, but there's a lot of tools out there, like Navy SEALs use it, like box breathing, right. and it could get way more advanced than just box breathing.
I suck at that, by the way. I've tried box breathing. It's very difficult to do.
Yeah, it's just, but when you do it, it's like, okay, you're focused, right? So like, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, and just like doing that for a couple of minutes, like gets you in a certain state.
Meditative state, yeah.
Yeah, so I use a lot of that. Like you said, I went back to the corner, took a big breath. Like I used that breath work all the way leading up to, like, from in the back in the locker room as I'm warming up, to like right before I'm about to walk out, like a big, like huge double inhale through the nose and like a slow exhale through my mouth. And just kind of brings me down. Then I walk, embrace it, like I'm there, I'm in the moment. Then I get in the octagon, I look, I just make a couple, like I'll wink at you, and then I just kind of do certain things that makes me feel like, okay, I'm here. Like even like the smell of the gloves, I smell that leather is unique. And then I'll look around, I'll make visual, some sort of visual cue, and then I feel the canvas. That's 3 senses right there that I just did. I was like, okay, I'm here, I'm in the moment, now let's fucking go. And you have to constantly get yourself back there.
That's right.
That's exactly what we saw when you came back, because you had a killer round. That's right after you hurt him, after you hurt Nate. And my buddy, when you did that breath, my buddy goes, he's in the zone. He's in the zone. Because you were just, wow. It was really cool to watch, man.
Yeah, it's funny going back to that corner going into round 3, because so I get to the corner and you know, you're tired because like it was a big moment, crowd's going nuts. I had him hurt. 20 seconds left of trying to like lay it all and finish him, kind of going crazy, and then going back, dude. He was like zigzagging across the octagon. I actually looked up. He wasn't. So sometimes I'll be in the corner. I'll look across to see if the guy like look how his body language is. He wasn't even in the corner. He was like on the right side. I'm like, dude didn't even make it to the corner. He's on the right side of the octagon. But I remember going back and Eric Nixick, he had the stool. He's in the middle of he's like on the Monster logo. He's like, look at that motherfucker. And he's got the stool. I'm like, Eric, I need the stool. And then he brought it back. And then Tate, the cut man, was like pushing me up because I had a cut. And like someone had their like foot on my stomach. And I was like just exhausted. And then, yeah, we went out to round 3 and dude, that motherfucker recovered quick too, because he was right back at it.
Very tough.
And
yeah.
And that's his MO. Like he gets hurt. When he gets hurt, he still comes back really hard. So what was that feeling, knowing that how strong, because he was walking you down for the beginning of the round, and you were the way you were handling it, it almost felt like why isn't he more tired? And then you came on towards the end. But the idea of how he just started coming forward, what were you thinking at starting the 3rd?
I mean, doing my homework and my preparation, like I knew he would come back. Like he is one of those guys, when he gets hurt, like he's still in the fight. He's still dangerous. And if anything, I think he's more dangerous. He's better once he gets like kind of hit. I had initially, I was like, okay, I think he's still hurt. If I just stay smart, patient, I think I could hurt him again. But yeah, dude, he was right. He was in my face the whole time. I hit him with some good shots still in the 3rd round. And then like that little bit of like tiredness, like shit, you didn't get him out. Like it kind of sets in. I was like, hey, I just got to stay disciplined, and maybe I'll drop him again. But yeah, dude, I mean, he was a tough competitor, man. I just, I had a fun time in there.
Fun to watch, man.
Yeah. Congratulations. Dan. It was a great fight. And I know you were happy, and you're looking towards Bryce or eventually onto Ortega. Is that kind of what's on what your goal is next?
Yeah. I think Bryce makes the most sense, or even a Caceres, like kind of in that direction. And for me, it's kind of just building up build the wins again. And when I'm ready, I mean, I am ready, but when I start putting together those wins, and I think someone like an Ortega will get me right back into a contender spot.
Into that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, Dan, thank you. You looked great. It was a beautiful fight, and I was really happy for you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you fight again. I know we all are, and hopefully by September, October.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your guys' time.
Yeah, anytime, man.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, and come back soon.
Congrats,
All right. The great Dan Ige. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. See you guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to keep doing my mic and distracting everybody. It's annoying. I don't know how the fucking fellow. What an amateur I am. What an amateur asshole. That's literally like if you walked out to fight, Matt, and your fucking gloves were backwards. That's the level of stupid I am for my only.
I literally, when I saw you do it, I thought, is he going to do a stand-up bit right now? He just decided to like.
I think I fiddle with it once in a while to move it. And I didn't want to keep making noise while Dan was talking. I'm always interested in what these guys think, and especially after a couple of losses, how does it affect you? And
yeah,
I would imagine, I'm no doctor. Excuse me. I just had a diet root beer. I apologize.
It's all right. You enjoy.
I would imagine that ice bath, it might be really useful for a bad, severe case of blue balls. Think you got back from a date and you maybe were expecting something and it didn't happen, and you're like,
Sure.
Jimmy, I can see you. And instead of just taking care of yourself, because I think you'd feel horrible after that, Jimmy.
No, I wouldn't, and I've done it while I was driving. I feel fine. I'm proud of myself when I do that.
You jump in that ice bath, and it's the last thing you're thinking about.
Yeah.
It's a thought. It's a thought.
It might take away a little bit of the physical rush you're dealing with, hoping for something. By the way, to change, I apologize. I meant to ask you, what is Zero Contact behind you?
Oh, Zero Contact. That's the film I did with Hopkins, and it was right at the beginning of the pandemic. And so Rick Dugdale, who's a producer, and they were on their way to Bulgaria to shoot, and then the lockdown happened. So the whole crew were like, we want to stay creative, but what can we do? Because we can't go anywhere. So they wrote this script basically in Zoom the way we are right now. And this whole story takes place, and Hopkins is in it, which was amazing. And because of the strength on that, it became one of the first NFT projects in film. And then, so they sold a bunch of NFTs around Zero Contact. And then Lionsgate bought it and put it on Amazon Prime. And now with that success, we're shooting the second and the third film starting in August. But now the second and third film, the story takes us to the actual locations. We already shot in Antarctica. And now we're shooting we're going to be shooting in Easter Island, I think Italy and Jordan. So we're hitting these bops because it's a time travel type film. So it started on a Zoom, and just because we wanted to be busy, and it became this beautiful beast that now we get to travel the world with one of the greatest actors ever. So it's pretty exciting.
What's it? Oh, okay, Matt.
Sorry, Amazon Prime, you said?
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
What season did you shoot in Antarctica? I mean, because it sucks there all year, but I mean, when were you there, and what was the temperature like when you were shooting?
So we went there in their summer, which is around November, and it's 24 hours sun. It's 24 hours. And you land, we were in the mid, like basically there was no water around us for probably, I think it's like 20 miles. You had to go 20 miles to actually see the water. So we land on ice. There's no airport. There's no airport. There's no living thing. It's just all ice and mountain. It was one of the most emotional experiences a lot of us had, because you're literally in Antarctica, and the way the pole works, one of the guys that were taking us, Sebastian Copeland, who's an amazing adventurer, has a few books out. He was our lead, and he said, like, just so you guys know, there's this stuff happens here. Like, you're gonna feel some stuff. And we're like, yeah, like excited that we're in Antarctica to shoot. Honestly, right when I touched down and you feel that cold, you're all winds whipping around, I just got emotional. For me, it was, I can't believe I'm not here for vacation. I'm actually doing work here. And it just got emotional. And then there was these red flags that you couldn't go because there were a lot of crevices that you may not see. And he told us stories where people were walking, adventurers were walking, didn't see a crevice, and then you just slide like 500 feet, and and now you're stuck. So that's a horrible death.
They can't get you out, right? Yeah,
they can't get you out, especially they made sure that we were with people and we had a walkie-talkie, but we couldn't go past these. We couldn't go past these red flags. And then I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna take 2 steps just past the red flag where no one really goes. Again, had a crazy emotional moment, flashbacks of childhood, and I can't believe that I'm here. And it's hard to describe. You just got to touch down and you just feel some crazy stuff. But we got to shoot, and we got to shoot in different weather. So it was bluebird, it was gorgeous. And then the next day you couldn't even see in front of you. They had these poles where the tents are, and you had to walk because your equilibrium's all over the place because you don't know where you are because the wind is just whipping. It was epic.
Yeah, that's scary to slide down a crevice and then just get stuck.
I can't even imagine, man.
Your legs are probably broken. I mean, you're not getting out.
No, that's the thing.
Oh,
you're just like it's like a funnel. Just now, you're just stuck.
Oh, wow.
That's even more horrific because like you're fine, but you're just looking up and going, I can't get out.
And would nobody know they were in there? They wouldn't have a crew behind them.
It's some adventurers have kind of been by themselves or lost track, and yeah, that's how it happens sometimes. It was insane, but luckily we had Copeland, and he was epic. He showed us the whole ropes, and we got to shoot some really beautiful scenes.
Oh, that's nice, man. When are you going? Is that the project you're promoting today? I want to make sure I promote what you're promoting today.
Well, Gen Zeros, which right here and probably backwards, but right here, is the project that I'm executive producing and starring in. But we've got right now quite a bit of because it's an indie basically. So we put this thing together. Remember when we actually put you guys in our suits and everything? So we're looking forward to some really cool things happening with a production company picking it up, and we can hopefully start shooting something within 6 months.
Where do we see the Gen Zeros again?
So you can see it at genzeros.com, which was basically, the inception of the idea and the actual Bible. We've got an extensive Bible of how the show can carry on. So we're in between thinking about series or a feature film, and that's what we're negotiating right now. And so it's been exciting because it was just started ground up with an idea with some of the writers from the last show that I did, Van Helsing, Matt and Jeremy, and it's getting your friends together to be a part of a project was really exciting, and we're just looking forward to continuing.
That's nice.
Yeah,
you're always I feel like you're
always working.
You're always working.
I can't help it, man. I'll say yes to anything. I said yes to you guys. Come on.
Honestly, yeah, that is a big drop off from Anthony Hopkins in Antarctica to watching me fumble with my mic like I'm losing an erection.
Hey, a couple. Listen, we talked about Amanda and what a great career. I mean, listen, she's legendary. One of the great.
Course. I'm not convinced that she's done. By the way, Matt, I'm not convinced that Amanda won't have another fight.
I think the wifey Nina wants to get in there now. I think she wants.
That's true. Okay, and she's pregnant again too.
Who knows? Listen, she's so dominant that. I mean, listen, I wouldn't. Who knows? Never say never with her.
Right.
But again, Charles Oliveira, Mike Malott. Adam, forget about it. Jimmy. Sorry. You started with the mic. Now I'm just following you.
I didn't hear what you said.
I'm not saying it again. Shut up. You're being mean. He's a bully sometimes, Alex. When I have a bad joke, he'll just like zoom out and shit. Well, Adam was game, but man, Mike Malott, I mean, there's a reason why he's undefeated in there. In the UFC, he only has one loss in MMA.
All finishes.
All finishes. I mean, he's a beast. And
he's a strong kid.
It was not an elbow up guillotine. It was like arm deep. What was it? A wrist up? It was a one-arm guillotine, I believe. I gotta look at it again. But man, right around it, once it was around that neck, it looked like it looked like the head was about to pop off. I don't know.
So strong, such a strong kid.
Wow, that was impressive. And then who was the first? How did we start off that night?
Marc-André Barriault against Eric Anders.
And Eric Anders was game, but he just
always,
man, his nose kind of looks like Marab's now.
Yeah.
That's he's like, yeah.
And Chris Curtis, you heard that injury?
Oh, the Curtis, yeah.
Yeah, I guess he moved on.
That was that cut when that cut opened up. Like we saw it cage side, and you know what? He wasn't doing that well in the beginning of that fight. Like he was getting beat up a little bit, and I'm not saying that was an out for him, but if it was me and I'm getting hit and I know that cut's bad. Yeah, he really wanted to fight back, but I'm glad he took the no contest. I'm glad it didn't go on because he was just totally compromised from a headbutt, and I couldn't see it going his way.
It's the second fight in a row with a headbutt with him. How crazy is that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's a reason, and I know you know this too, Alex, as a boxer. When I have guys sparring at my school, they want to do whether it's feet to floor, mixed martial arts round, boxing, kickboxing. And do we have to wear headgear? One of you has to. And it's not because of protecting from the strikes. It's because you don't get a motherfucker like this right here. Where is this? There it is. That's 50 stitches from Chris Lytle's forehead in the first round. Because you clash heads when you're in there throwing, you clash heads. And then you'll be seeing more and more. And it also happens in sparring. So I made sure at least one guy wears the headgear in sparring. But that's annoying.
That's 100% true. It's never, a lot of guys go, I don't want to wear headgear, but yeah, it's literally one of them. It's more about cuts than about punches.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, look, this was a great. Oh,
sorry, I was just gonna say, what's the kid with the St. Pierre's old trainer?
The Hobby.
The Hobby.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was a great knockout. That dude was taking it to him, and then he landed that amazing, beautiful shot.
I like that his opponent it's only one name, like Madonna. Right? Look at that name. Right? What am I looking at here, Jimmy?
But that was an interesting fight, man. Like,
and he was the underdog too, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great to see them celebrate.
Those Hobbies are smart.
Yeah.
And Kyle Nelson also with Blake Builder. That was something else also. Pronounced Almond. Hey, producer, step into my office.
That's not who we're talking.
Listen, I'm only fucking around. Thank you, Alex. I'm fucking around. All right, no, that's not who I was talking about.
That's awesome.
Anyway, what a good time, man! I'm so happy. What else? Anything else you want to promote, Alex? Anything else?
Well, I did an episode of FUBAR, with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Schwarzenegger show, yeah.
Yeah, and I was super excited when I got the gig. I was like, "Oh man, I get to meet Schwarzenegger," because I've been a fan. I've been a fan since Pumping Iron days, right? Of course. But man, I'll tell you my Schwarzenegger story. So we had no scenes together, but I go to Wardrobe and I'm like, and Wardrobe was in the studio, and they were like, "Yeah, just so you know, it's Arnold's last day," and I'm like, "Oh my God, his last." I gotta meet him. So I'm hanging around set, which I'm not even supposed to, like a newbie, just kind of like kicking stones and like, And then I finally asked the AD, because he's right there. I finally asked the AD, "Hey man, if there's a chance that I can meet him, I would love to meet him. I get it. It's his last day, and if he can't, I get it." But he goes, "Listen, he's at his trailer. He's gonna come in through the back entrance. We'll meet him back there, and I'll just ask him." I'm like, "Great." So I'm back there, and it's like 20 feet away. The truck pulls up. The AD goes, and I see him gesturing, and Arnold looks over his shoulder, and he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh shit! Now's my chance to meet him." So I put out my hand, shake his hand. I'm like, "Thank you so much for having me a part of the show. I'm really, really excited to be a part of it." And I'm a fan of Pumping You and Pumping Iron and Terminator. And he goes, "Whoa, you're a fan of Pumping Me?" I went, No. Pumping Iron. Pumping Iron. I'm a fan of Pumping Iron. He goes, "I don't go that way." Hits my shoulder and walks off laughing. And I'm like, no, I just wanted to eat those words back, because I'm not a fan of pumping him.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Pumping Iron. So that was my experience.
He seems like he has a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Oh, he laughed his way. He laughed his way right into the studio, and I'm like,
"That's funny." That's hysterical, man.
I'm a fan, dude. I love fangirling, because there's people that I meet that I'm like blown away. I don't have any cool bone in my body with that. Even with you, Matt, I lost my shit when I was on the show. So like, it's one of those things. And I don't want that kind of feeling to go away. So, and during the whole fight, we were just blown away. Me and my buddy Tomo just meeting St. Pierre and then meeting Dana. I'm just a fan of like really cool shit, man.
Well.
By the way, Matt, sorry to interrupt you. We should mention Zahabi against Orichilong is the fight you were referencing before.
There you go.
Yes. And Zahabi, man, he was on fire. All the Canadians, man, they answered the call.
5-0.
Yeah,
5-0. That stadium was singing "Oh Canada" like so many times. It was exciting, man. It was so much electricity in that stadium.
There was a great energy. You seen it through the television.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, guys. Listen, man, I had fun.
Yep. I want to promote one thing if I can. Wednesday, I'm at the Fat Black Pussycat, and come see me at the Comedy Mothership in Austin. The first 4 shows are sold out, so they added 2 shows on the Sunday, the July the 16th. So it's a great club. I've done a set there. So if you want to come see me down in Austin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great room. Great room.
Guys, Thank you so much, Aleks.
Aleks, so great.
Again soon, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna come and visit you and get you to choke me out again. I would love it.
Anytime, dude. Anytime. But we'll probably see you on here before then. But guys, Jimmy, I'll see you in a couple of days. And Aleks, I'm sure I'll talk to you soon, brother. Thank you again.
Bye,
Mad
guys.
love, brother. Mad
Thanks,
love,
Aleks.
guys.
Matt,
Appreciate it.
talk to you
Later,
soon. Goodbye.